From the iconic Splash Brothers to the dynamic duo of Kyrie Irving and LeBron James, it seems like NBA allies aren't meant to last. Let's look at some of the most iconic NBA allies that turned into rivals. Let's start with one of the most infamous breakups in NBA history, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Back in the day, they were like Batman and Robin, PB&J, or whatever other cheesy duo you can think of. But then, out of nowhere, KD took off to the Golden State Warriors, and the bromance was over. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around this one. I mean, I get it. KD wanted that ring, and he thought the Warriors were his best shot. But did he really have to leave his BFF behind like that? It's like when your friend ditches you for a cooler squad in high school. Not cool, man. Their friendliness was also never the same after he left.
I wasn't really locked in with the front office to let's have a conversation about our team going forward.
But here's the thing, time heals all wounds, or at least that's what they say. And maybe it's true because in recent years, we've seen some signs of a possible reconciliation. Like when they played together at the All-Star game in 2019 and seemed to be having a good time. Maybe, just maybe, they can put the past behind them and be bros again. But for now, all we can do is wait and see.
So in the moment, it was like, all right, let's just move on and we'll focus on who we have here.
Will they hug it out at the next All-Star game? Or will they forever be on opposite sides of the court? Only time will tell.
We didn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish as far as winning a championship, just like I told him. And everybody there, we tried our hardest every day, regardless.
But there was another breakup that might be even more painful than this one. LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, the dynamic duo of the Cleveland Cavaliers, brought their A game and won the NBA championship in 2016.
It's over! It's over! Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
But just like that summer fling that didn't last, their partnership quickly went south. Kyrie Irving wanted to be the team's top gun, but he had to share the spotlight with LeBron James. Eventually, this desire to be the alpha dog led to Irving's trade request and the beginning of their rivalry. Now, I'm not saying Irving was being dramatic when he wanted out of Cleveland, but it did seem like he was trying to escape the shadow of the king. LeBron James was the big boss, and Irving wanted to be the boss of his own team. The trade request sent shockwaves through the NBA, and many wondered if the Cavs would ever recover. But the real drama came when Irving joined the Boston Celtics. The two teams, who were already fierce rivals, had a newfound animosity thanks to Irving's move. Suddenly, every time the Cavs and Celtics played against each other, it was must-watch TV. As for LeBron James and Kyrie Irving's relationship, things were icy at best. At one point, they barely spoke, and when they did, it was tense. However, things seem to have mellowed out a bit since then. James left Cleveland for the Los Angeles Lakers, and Irving found success elsewhere. There were even talks of Irving reuniting with James in Lakers earlier this year, but he ultimately chose to join the Mavericks instead. They've even played against each other a few times since their feud, and while they may not be BFFs anymore, they seem to have buried the hatchet. Now, let's move on to a rivalry that existed even when they were allies. Kobe Bryant and Dwight Howard, a duo that could have been unstoppable, but alas, their on-court chemistry was anything but perfect. Bryant reportedly criticized Howard's work ethic, and the two had a lot of public disagreements on the court.
No, you want to win. It's hard, man. It's hard. We're literally like at the bottom.
It's like watching two siblings fight over who gets the last piece of cake. Except in this case, it's not cake. It's an NBA championship. The Lakers' success was compromised by their feud, and the tension was palpable. If you ever thought there was nothing worse than working with someone you don't get along with,
I think it's a great time to be able to address some of those issues and some of those challenges.
imagine being a teammate with someone who's constantly rubbing you the wrong way. It's like, please, just let me play the game in peace. It's a shame things didn't work out between these two, but hey, not everyone's meant to be best buds.
The only thing I notice before every game as I look up at them championship banners is to think about adding more.
Sometimes you just have to agree to disagree and move on. And in this case, Howard moved on to play for the Rockets and the Hawks, while Bryant continued to play with the Lakers until his retirement in 2016.
He had a comment about me being soft. And I think for years, I kind of hated him for saying that.
But who knows? Maybe if they had worked things out, they could have brought a championship to the Lakers. We'll never know for sure, but one thing's for certain, their feud will forever be remembered in NBA history.
I think he was more so talking about my mentality. And I didn't realize that because of the noise surrounding him saying I was soft.
Let's now move on to the drama-filled feud between Russell Westbrook and James Harden. These guys were once teammates on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they reunited on the Houston Rockets in 2019. Sounds like a dream team, right? Well, not exactly. Reports started surfacing that their on-court chemistry was about as smooth as sandpaper on skin. And let's be real, nobody wants to deal with that kind of irritation. The tension between these two was palpable, and it didn't take long for it to impact the NBA. Their falling out was a hot topic amongst basketball enthusiasts, and everyone had their own theory on what went wrong. wrong? Was it a clash of egos, or did Westbrook just hate Harden's beard? We may never know the full story, but what we do know is that Westbrook was eventually traded to the Washington Wizards in 2020. While their friendship off the court remained strong, their on-court dynamic left much to be desired. Despite their talent, they struggled to find a rhythm together and failed to make a deep playoff run. Some speculate their personal ambitions and desire for the ball led to their downfall. Regardless of the cause, their falling out was a blow to the Rockets and the NBA as a whole. Now, you might be wondering if these two have made up, and the answer is yes. According to reports, they buried the hatchet and even worked out together in the offseason. Looks like these guys are back on good terms. But let's be real, even if they were still at each other's throats, we'd still tune in to watch them go head-to-head on the court. After all, what's basketball without a little drama? Up next is the Steph Curry and Kevin Durant breakup. Now, I know what you're thinking, not the Splash Brothers, but even the greatest of duos can have their falling out. Steph and KD were teammates of the Golden State Warriors, and they actually won 2 championships together. But behind the scenes, their relationship was reportedly on the rocks. I mean, I get it. 2 alpha dogs on the same team can cause some tension. Now, I'm not saying they were throwing punches at practice or anything, but it was clear that they weren't seeing eye to eye all the time. And things came to a head when KD left the Warriors to join the Brooklyn Nets in 2019. Ouch! Arguably the biggest betrayal of the century. I mean, it's not like they were ever going to share a milkshake at the drive-thru or anything, but it's always a bummer when teammates turn into rivals.
It was a lot of ups and downs, but I love the grind. So I built a family over there. They're going to always be a part of my journey.
But hey, it's not like they didn't have a good run, and they're still pretty friendly with each other publicly, so there's that. But for now, we'll just have to watch them battle it out on the court. And let's be real, that's always entertaining.
His own miss. Tried to spin, stripped of the ball.
It's crazy to think how much personal drama can spill onto the court and create such intense competition.
Wow, here we go. Uh-oh. He went right over to Bryant. Did Ron Artest.
And while some of these players have kissed and made up, others are still holding on the grudges tighter than a basketball in crunch time. One thing's for sure, these rivalries will forever be etched in the history books, and we'll continue to talk about them for years to come.
So you and I, if we're working together, you got to challenge me just as I have to challenge you. And a lot of times it makes people uncomfortable.
And those were the most iconic basketball allies that turned into rivals.
Howard with the elbows, and Kobe was defending, and some words exchanged, and this goes back to what was the story.
I didn't have a personal problem with Kobe. I just think that we were on 2 different levels mentally.
I have a way that I think winning should be done, which is, hard work. When it's all said and done, I want to be able to look back on my career and say, I did the best I could.
We've been through our ups and been through our downs. And I think the most important part is that we all stayed together throughout.
And the emotions for LeBron James, who delivers on his promise to come home and bring a championship